Where's mine?
And we're live. Tracy was just saying the sun was hurting her eyes. The sun's shining right in on us. But it's about to go down.
And
the only sunglasses I had available were these, coincidentally, and I'm not sure exactly why, but here they are.
While I go blind.
Well, here you go. You put them on. They look better on you anyway.
I like big glasses.
Well, welcome, my friends, to the NASCAR live chat with Hamm.
And Hamm.
Or as also known as I Am T Hamm. Nice. She's showing me an ad that pops up. Who was that? Somebody sniffing somebody's armpit. I don't know. It's some kind of ad.
For deodorant.
That reminds me the other day when I was brushing my hair.
He brushes his hair.
It's like
you can hear the dang brush honking his noggin.
Yes. So we're just waiting on
FYI, hey Terry, hey Linda. If anybody else is on, make sure you say hey.
I think we got more people coming. All right, so
we've got 4 viewers, it says, but only 2 said anything.
Yeah.
5 now.
All right, so if you're just joining in, it's the first time. My name is David Hamm, and I'm a 25-year NASCAR engine builder, and now retired engine builder for NASCAR, and also retired jackman after Steve Baker's on, and 7-year NASCAR jackman, and 5-year dealership technician, and now the proud owner of Hammscapes, and that's my sole business since I've retired from NASCAR. As of this week, today was my first day on the job for Hammscapes. The boss was a little tough.
I'm telling you, I had to go pick up the boss because he had a breakdown.
Oh yeah, my old trusty Lumina from 1999, Days of Thunder Lumina, bought at City Chevrolet, and she laid down on me. So Tracy had to come to the rescue.
I had to rescue him.
And she was actually on her way home from work, so it worked out really good. But I had my dad with me. I had to go do a quote for a
customer.
Yeah, for one of my customers, and I took the car since I didn't really need my truck. And she laid down on me, lost a cylinder or two. So I think a coil probably went out because it acted like 2 cylinders.
Says it's a Chevy.
It's a Chevy. That's it. I think from now on I'll just go with Fords. You know, everything I have.
What do I have? I have
a Chevy.
I have a GM.
Yeah, you have a Cadillac. I mean a
Lincoln.
A Lincoln, yeah. So I have a Chevy car and 2 Chevy trucks and a Jeep.
I don't know why this isn't showing. It keeps showing the ad.
But I do have a Ford, a 1966 Ford Mustang, but it's not drivable right now. But anyway, welcome to the NASCAR live chat with Hamm, and I Am T Hamm. She also has a YouTube channel. Is I Am T Hamm. It's Hamm with 2 M's. And so
the same way he spells his.
Yes.
So how ironic is that?
We got so if you don't mind, put it where you're watching from. So we got Terry Quinn in Oklahoma, Linda Jinks. I need to write these down.
I think Linda's from Pennsylvania.
I think it is Pennsylvania. Tom's up in Indiana.
Steve is in Florida.
Tom Robinson, and he's the Robinson paint equipment. I started to wear one of his T-shirts, but I ended up wearing this. I'm offended that you're offended.
Both in gray.
This is something that
purposely.
Yeah, something that I'm actually I'm going to work on getting one of these T-shirts, and I'll put a link in the description. Not in the description, a link in the comment below to get this T-shirt if you want one to. Anyway, we got Tom Robinson from Indiana, Rachel Rodman from Charlotte. You can hit skip, and then who else? We got Linda. Yeah, you're right, Tracy from Pennsylvania, and Steve Baker is from Waynesboro, Virginia. Steve Baker also listens in on the radio station and does Terry Quinn on the Drive at 5 on WAME that I'm also on.
I'm squinting, y'all.
Every Friday from 4 to 6. You can check us out on Facebook, the WAME Chillbillies.
And I'm going to be exiting for a few minutes because dinner's in the oven.
She's got to go check on dinner, so that'd probably be a good time for me to talk about NASCAR.
Stop it.
Yeah, what are we having? I'm just kidding.
We are having chicken lasagna.
Chicken lasagna. That sounds really good because being my own boss today for the first time. Let's see. First thing this morning, I had a egg white omelet with spinach and some Greek yogurt with some fruit, and yeah, oh, some chia seeds, steel cut oats, chia seeds, all that good stuff. So I'm trying to eat better.
My timer's gonna go off in case y'all hear something.
All right, so I ate, and then for lunch, so I had some jerky and some fruit. So I'm a little bit hungry, but I think being my own boss and being out here in the weather, soaking up the vitamin D, not being inside all day, I think it's going to be good for me. I feel pretty good, you know. So
somebody says howdy, K Ballard.
That's K Ballard, the scratch guy. Thanks for tuning in.
Howdy, howdy.
So Steve says they were the smart cast today. It worked great. So I guess, well, anyway, we'll get back to that. What, Steve Baker, explain yourself, because I'm not sure about that. And Rachel, yes, thank you. Funny shirt. Well, you know, everybody's offended these days. You can't say nothing. You can't do anything because somebody's going to get offended, and then they're going to try to get a law against you. So it's just like, you know what, everybody, just be yourself. Just you be you, and I'll be me.
You do you.
Yes, you do you. All right. So the main reason that we're here is to discuss the race from the Pocono 400, the Pocono Raceway race that we race there twice a year. I guess we still race there twice a year. It's always been an extremely fan-friendly race. It's the tricky triangle because there's 3 turns, but it depends on how you look at it. Some people say there's actually 6 turns. I still go with 3 because it's a triangle shape. And that, what do you think? What do y'all think? 3 turns or 6 turns?
Steve Baker says the Whammy Drive at 5 was Smashcast today.
Smashcast
instead of Facebook.
Oh, really?
Huh. Never heard of Smashcast.
I haven't heard of Smashcast. I'm not sure about that. Hash asked me to come in, but I told him I had too much going on. So
I've already said I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm on there on Fridays from 4 to 6 with the Chillbillies Friday Fiesta. All right, so for the Pocono 400, yes, I agree, 3 turns. That's what the majority looks like, 3 turns. Yes. It's just, you know how some people try to overanalyze things and then they're like, oh, it's got 6 turns. But if you look at the diagram of the track, yeah, it's got a turn, but that's just one big turn. It's not a turn and then a straightaway and then a turn. So that's one turn and then another turn. But you got the longest straightaway in NASCAR, which is the Long Pond straightaway, and then you go into the short chute, or short turn, you got a tunnel turn. Anyway, it's that's why it's called a tricky triangle, because you got all kinds of, you know, they went from shifting and then not shifting, and the gear changes, gear rules, all that stuff. NASCAR
majority rules 3 turns.
Yes, and you got to set up the suspension for that tricky triangle. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky. But as you all know, Kyle Busch ended up winning the race. And then let's see, I'll go through the rundown. How about this? Finishing order: Kyle Busch won, Brad Keselowski second, Eric Jones third, Chase Elliott fourth, Clint Bowyer, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, William Byron, and Eric Almirola and Kurt Busch round out the top 10. So let's go through. Let's see how many Fords we had. All right, so we had one here. You count them up. One Toyota. Well, I was thinking I should have done this already. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway, how about this? We'll just go through and look at how many Fords we got in the top 10. So we got 1 with Brad Keselowski, 2 with Clint Bowyer, 3 with Joey Logano, 4 Daniel Suarez, 5 Eric Almirola. I was about to say Kurt Busch, but he's no longer Ford. So 5 in the top 10. That's pretty good right there. And then let's go with Toyotas. We got Kyle Busch. Let's see, Denny Hamlin. You counting? And that's it. 2 Toyotas in the top 10. And Chevrolets. What's the math? What's the rest?
Let's see, 7.
3. Yep. 3 Chevrolets. All right. So that's the top 10 in the point. And then in the current, well, we'll go through the race and then I'll talk about the point standings. But if you got any comments, go ahead and throw them at me. And we'll do a little bit of a trivia here coming up for the race coming up in Michigan, which will be next at Michigan Raceway. Yes, Rachel, we are so close to another Ford win. Rachel said, Paul Rodriguez says, Rachel Rodman, our friend Ty Majeski, won the ARCA race. Very good. And Linda Jinks, Keselowski won. Who is KB? That's good. That's all right. So somebody said they saw something about a roof flap on Kyle Busch's car that might have been sticking up a little bit, giving him an aerodynamic advantage. Did anybody else hear anything else about that? Because I just saw that one time and I have not heard anything else about it. Because sometimes those guys do cheat a little bit. So
No.
Tom Robinson says, I hated the number 18 one, and I'm no fan of that race package. We'll see how it goes at Michigan race. Yes, we will. And Michigan will show a lot, kind of like Atlanta. Michigan's fast. So, so Steve Baker did see a picture of that. He didn't see the replay or the replay. But, they're not going to take that win away. But it's too bad if he was cheating, then he's already won the race. So the 3 cars spun early, and he said Menard spun him out, or Menard wrecked him. I didn't see a lot of wrecks. It just wasn't a really action-packed race as far as that goes. But the 17 hit the wall in the tunnel turn. And I think Ty Dillon got into something. And also Truex got a DNF due to engine issues. So Kyle Larson won stage 1 and 2. Kyle Busch won the final stage and the race, as we noted. So Brad's evaluation of second place, he said it had a decent speed, but not enough to pass guys, but could run with them. Feel if he'd got to the front, nobody would have passed him. Take advantage of restarts, pit strategy, and do the best you can, which is a positive way of looking at things, And sometimes if you don't quite have the car to win the race, you have to use your pit strategy and that type of stuff. So if you notice the thumbnail for this video that I have up, that is me with the jack in 1999 when I jacked for Sterling Marlin. Like I said, we would race there twice a year. But if you look in the background, you look at the stands and look how really super packed they were.
Party like it's 1999.
That's right, 1999. That was the year of the parties. So we had a lot of fun going to the tracks, and especially with old Sterling Marlin. And we were sponsored by Coors Light and Coors Banquet. And so we had a lot of people come to the races that year. We had Brooks and Dunn. You know what? One of these days I'm going to list out how many people that we had come to the race. But we were supposed to have the Possum come, and George Jones, and his nickname is No Show Jones. That's his other name besides Possum. And he was supposed to come to Talladega, and his bus broke down supposedly, so he didn't show up for the race. But one of these days, I'll list out how many people that I've actually met throughout the years. Another thing I was thinking about doing is doing a video of my fire suits and my team uniform shirts. What do you think about that?
A video of it, or
Yeah.
me modeling
Tracy
them?
modeling, doing one of those they call it a try-on things or whatever.
Try-on.
All right. And then another one I thought about doing is showing my rings, because now I have 12 rings. So if anybody would be interested in seeing that, let me know in the comments, because you might not want to see that, but you might. Some of them really cool, and it's like bringing back memories and stuff. So Steve Baker says, would love to see Paul win a race for the Wood Brothers. Yes, I agree. I would love to see the Wood Brothers in Victory Lane. Those guys are some of the best guys I've ever been around. Lynn and Glenn and and all those the Wood Brothers and Wood Uncles and Wood Dads is what really they are.
Cousins.
They started out as the Wood Brothers, back in, I guess it was in the early 60s. But I've got souvenir magazines that's got them when they really made the pit crews what they are today. I mean, they started the whole thing about having the fast pit crews. They all had the white uniforms. It's really cool stuff. But anyway, so yeah, Linda Jinks, I guess she was talking about whenever 17 wrecked, and it wasn't his fault, I'm assuming. Terry says there sure was a lot of cautions. Rachel says Truex didn't have David Hamm to work on his engines. Yeah.
Actually, You probably still did have engines in this week's
I
race.
did have them, but she's talking about Truex. Truex blew up, or Truex had engine issues.
When is your last
my engines?
race
I guess
that you have engines?
they were Michigan. But
So-
actually, there'll be more races coming because I did short blocks earlier, and we're running the Cup races more than once. The engines are, but I won't know the rest of the year what engines were mine or you know. So let's see. Paul Rodriguez says Dylan is a baby. 21 only hit him because of 48 backed up. Yes, and I wonder if they showed him the replay whenever he was saying that during his interview. I'm not really sure. You know, sometimes they will, and the driver's like, well, I don't know what to say about that, but yeah,
Patrick
Rachel,
Bowen
we need
from
to get the
Texas says hello.
stands back in the stands. Oh, hey, who was it? Patrick
Bowen
Hey, what's up, Patrick? Thanks for tuning in
from Texas.
from Texas. All right. Yeah, so wherever y'all are listening from, tell me. I already said who was listening from where for the most part, but what's Paul saying? I need to find out how to get in touch with Dave Morrissey, your former teammate at Sapco. Yeah, I know Dave Morrissey. What's going on with him? I'm just curious. But all right, so in the current point standings, we got Kyle Busch leading once again. Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Clint Boyer. I rode by Ryan Blaney's house today and I saw he's got a little short American flag pole, but you can't see where he lives from the road. You can't see his house. But it's a cute little American flagpole. Eric Almirola, it's probably when he has a party. He says, look for the little flagpole. There, Daniel Suarez, William Byron, Eric Jones, and Kyle Larson rounding out the top 12 or 16 or something. I didn't add this up. Anyway. All right, so we're going to move on to the next race, which is going to be happening at Michigan, which is one of my, I'm not going to say my favorite track. Now, the last year that I went in 2001, it turned into my favorite track because they got us out of there. They let us go before everybody else. They said, all right, you got an hour. We're going to hold everybody and we're going to let you out of here so we can get to the airport. Other than that, we would sit in traffic for 2 hours. No, we would sit in the infield for 2 hours to get out of Michigan. On the bus, Coors Light. That's why I would end up with a headache the next day because I didn't have anything else to do. But drink some beer and take a nap. So anyway, Steve Baker's asking a question. Tracy, are you reading these questions?
Here. Well, I mean, yeah.
Steve Baker says short blocks are engine blocks only without the total engine, no intake, valve covers, etc. That is correct. That's just without the heads or any of the top end stuff. That's just the bottom end. Patrick Boland says, who is my favorite driver?
I think he's asking everybody who their favorite driver is.
Okay. Who is your favorite driver? I'll answer who my favorite driver is. Ooh, that's a tough one. What do you think?
Mine's Logano.
Logano.
Current.
He's drivers. A good kid. I like Keselowski.
Brad's.
I think he's probably, I think he's probably my favorite at this time because when I talk to him, I really feel like he's a very smart guy. And he's grew up around NASCAR with his dad racing. Very down to earth, very smart. So, and he's a heck of a driver. So, all right. So Delo's on with us. Dio Mosley. Where's Delo from? You remember? Is it Pennsylvania? I thought she was from Pennsylvania.
I don't know.
All right. So we're going to go on to Michigan notes. Yeah, Brad is classy and smart. And then Rachel says we need Joey Smiles. Yeah, Joey's got probably the best smile, and he's always smiling. So, yeah, it kind of reminds me of back in the day of Adam Petty. Always had that smile every time you saw him. So, Terry says I like all four drivers. That is a good point too. All right, so Michigan. We're gonna go on to the Michigan track, and I'm gonna ask maybe a couple of quiz questions. And Paul says Joey smiles even when he's mad. I mean, Steve says that's funny. That's true. Paul says Brad used to camp at Pocono when his dad raced there. Yes, and Brad does something that's really cool that you don't see a lot of drivers doing. Is going around and talking to the fans in the
campgrounds.
Yeah, Yes.
D'Lo is 51 miles from Bristol.
Oh, okay. She's in Virginia. Sorry, D'Lo. It's hard to keep up. I need to start writing these down. Maybe I'll try to go back and read these, and then I'll write everybody down. So, what's Patrick saying?
He lives just around the corner from Steve Petty, which is Richard Petty's nephew.
Richard Petty's nephew. Cool. I guess that would be out in Randleman area, possibly. I've been through Randleman a couple times.
Chad's on. Hey, Chad.
They have a little statue. What's up, Chad Hutter? They have a statue of Richard Petty, and when I got to the Victory Junction gang, Victory Junction, and I saw, and Kyle had invited me to come up with some of the 4-car pit crew and Rodney Childers, and when I got there, I was kind of laughing about the Richard Petty statue that they had. I said, I saw the statue of your dad out there, and he starts laughing, and he said, yeah, that's the one. It's the short Richard Petty. He said they're actually going to redo it because it's a statue of him, and it's a little short guy. It's not proportional, I guess you could say. So they're talking about redoing it. All right.
Yeah, because he is pretty tall.
Yeah, and especially with his cowboy boots on
and his hat.
That's
with
right.
The feathers.
Yes, yes. So some of Michigan history. First of all, it's a 2-mile moderate bank D-shaped track. It's located near Brooklyn in South Michigan.
I'll be back.
All right.
I'll return.
And the capacity of Michigan race is 56,000 people, 56,000 seats. I'm assuming seats. Maybe that includes the infield. I doubt it. That's probably seats. It broke ground on September 28, 1967, and opened October 13, 1968. The track was originally owned by Lawrence H. Lopatin. I guess I said that right. But in 1972, Roger Penske bought the track. In 1999, ISC, which is International Speedway Corporation, purchased the track. I wonder if that's one that they sold back to NASCAR. I'm thinking they kept that one, actually. So here's my quiz question. Who won the first race at Michigan? In 1969, it was held on June the 15th, 1969. And this person hasn't been the answer to any of our quiz questions in the past that I can think of. It's not. So to answer that, if you haven't watched before, usually the answer is Richard Petty, the king. But that's not the answer on this one. It seems like every track that we talk about, who won the first race at that track, it's always Richard Petty, it seems. No, the next question, the quiz question is, who holds the qualifying record, 206 mile an hour, and it was held in 2014? And I'll give you he no longer drives. All right, so there's 2 questions for you. First is, who won the first race in 1969? The next is, who holds the qualifying record at 206 mile an hour? Heck, I'll just throw one more on there. Who won the most poles at Michigan? And I'll tell you that this driver didn't used to run at all the races, at all the racetracks. And we were just talking about his team owners here a few minutes ago. And someone mentioned that they would like to see that team win another race with a different driver, of course, because this driver's been retired a long time ago. All right, so Patrick Bolin says, now see Patty lives in Texarkana, Texas, and he's got all the Richard Petty old cars that he used to race. Nice. I bet that's a sight to see. Really cool stuff. And Paul Rodriguez says, well, I know one thing. It wasn't KB, thank God. We're not going to say his name. We're not going to keep saying KB. Was about as far as it'll go. So if they don't look like anybody's got any that was pretty funny, Paul. Nobody has an answer for this. How about the first one? I'm going to throw it out there one more time. Who won the first race in 1969 at Michigan? All right, here's the answer. Cale Yarborough. Cale Yarborough won the first race at Michigan. All right, and who holds the qualifying record at 206 mile an hour? That's right, Steve. Jeff Gordon. and who is also now an announcer. And who has the most poles with 10? David Pearson. That's exactly right. You got it. All right, so that's your quiz answers for this week for the Michigan race. Let's see what some of the rumors going around NASCAR. All right, rumor of NASCAR looking to go hybrid in 2021. In recent seasons, NASCAR has gone more modern, fuel injectors, ethanol fuel, and electronic dashboards, which came around. Those things came around. You know what? I could say 5 years ago, but the way that time flew when I was working for NASCAR. So, it's been about every 5 years. So as far as making a change to the hybrid, that has come up because some of the things NASCAR is wanting to do is make the cars more like what you see on the street. So, that could mean a different engine besides the current V8. They're probably always going to run the V8, but there are other types of V8 engines. And that is a possibility of switching over to some of the stuff that's actually running on the street to make it more similar to the street cars. So Steve Baker says, need to get Dodge back. Yes. And Rachel says, no Honda, please. We are sick of Toyota as it is. American made and American owned, Rachel Rodman. All right. Yeah. So another rumor, another thing that has been mentioned this week was Mike Helton. I believe he's still the president of NASCAR. Mentioned on Dale Jr.'s podcast that if the automobile and racing industries goes the road to electrification, the chassis should have room for that. So I'm assuming with a hybrid would be part electric and part gas. And I know Edsel Ford has been in to see us in the Ford camp many times, and he is very big on electric cars. So I know that a lot of people might not like to hear this about the electric cars going into NASCAR. But if you really think about it, the future of automobiles is probably going to be electric, unless they figure out a way to make them run on water. But that's kind of the way things are going. So, hey, you just got to go with the times and whatever they decide to do. Hey, if they're racing, it doesn't really matter. Now, I don't know how the cars are going to sound if you get out there and they're all electric. I think part of the big allure to going to the race is the sounds and the smells and the speed. So so which one of those, if they took away, would you be dissatisfied with? I would say if you took away the smells, which means electric cars, they might smell like electric, but no more. You'd still have tire rubber smell, but you wouldn't have, the noise that you have now, which is a huge part of it. That rumble that you feel in your chest when you're sitting in the stands. But yes, so that would be a weird pit stop. I guess in a pit stop, you just plug out the electricity. But how do you charge the battery? The batteries take so long to charge. So I don't know. I think they'd have to have enough. Well, here's the deal. I say this thinking about it. If they're hybrid and they have an engine and they have a motor, meaning electric, then maybe the motor could charge the batteries when the motor's running.
Guess who's back?
I don't know. It's up in the air because that is a great question. What about the pit stop? So the Paul Rodriguez says, yeah, that's for sure. The Florida Power Light 400, Florida Power and Light 400. Well, what I was saying though, if you didn't have the noise, the rumble of the engines, how would that be to the fans? Because part of the allure is going and sitting in the stands and feeling that rumble of the engines. What would you think? I mean, some people don't like that because it's really noisy and you have to wear earplugs. And if you don't have earplugs, you're deaf when you leave there.
It'd be a totally different experience because it'd be like they were like flying. You know how planes, you don't hear them till they're past you?
Yeah.
It'd be like that, but you wouldn't hear anything.
I guess.
It'd be like
Yeah. All right. So
they're floating on air, perhaps.
maybe while some of them are running off the engine power, and others will be running off the electric. I don't know. We could probably move on to a different. Who knows when that's going to happen? It says 2021, but maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. Maybe they won't be quite ready for that at that point. So Steve Baker says, all right. So sorry about the I got this fan blowing on me over here. It's blowing my mustache.
And it's blowing my hair. So
yeah. But I'm not sweating like I usually am. We got lights on us, and the sun's finally gone down behind the trees. So
yeah, not quite as bright.
yeah, Rachel says you want the rumble of the engines. You want to feel the cars. Otherwise, why would you go to the track? Yeah, like I said, that is a huge part of it. Hey, there's Thomas Hatcher. Flywheel is a big generator. Engine charges it. The brakes will too. All right, is this the Thomas Hatcher tire changer for the 22 car? Tell us if this is you, Thomas, because I don't really know any other Thomases. But I'm glad you tuned in because you could probably answer some of these questions.
I said yes.
There you go. So if anybody has a question for the tire changer for Joey Logano, I know we got some huge Joey Logano fans on here. So Steve Baker says, no, it's the sound of the cars going around the track. Yeah, that's what we figured. So Chad says, that like my 40-volt Black & Decker weed or LOL. Yeah, so I don't know. Thomas, do you think we're going electric? You think we're going hybrid?
It'd be like, what do you call those little
2021
derby cars, the little things that you make for your kids. Derby cars.
Soapbox derbies or
Yeah,
whatever.
it'd be like that
Yeah, I guess so.
with no engine.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we could have a sail powered,
That'd be dumb.
Yeah, it would be dumb. All right, how about solar powered? Maybe they're going to have solar panels on them. That could be.
Go-karts.
Very well could be.
David used to race go-karts.
I did race go-karts. And I was going to tell Thomas something. And anybody else that's listening, in case you didn't know, I did retire from NASCAR.
Friday was his last day.
Friday was my last day, so now I'm working for Hamscapes. Check us out on Facebook. I do have a Hamscapes page on YouTube. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking things apart. I'm going to start working. I've got some videos of that I worked on things. I've got the video that I worked on a Monte Carlo, 87 Monte Carlo. Put an engine in it, and it's the videos. You'll get to hear how the car sounds really good. So,
which one?
On Hamscapes.
Monte Carlo.
On Hamscapes YouTube page.
I never got to drive it. I'm mad.
Well, it'll be back. It'll be back. We'll go
Thomas
for rides.
Says he thinks they're feeling people out with the idea. He thinks it's a ways down the road.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes I think NASCAR or put things out there just to get some feedback.
Well, I remember hearing about electric cars to begin with, and I was like, that's the dumbest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And now 25 to 30% of cars are electric or hybrid or.
Well, you know what? Who would have ever thought you could use this little device that we hold in our hands that has more power than what they had when they went to the moon, and you could use that to send text messages and pictures and all this kind of stuff. So yeah. I mean, how about that?
That's it.
Thomas Hatcher says, "Congratulations, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it, buddy. Like I told you at the Penske party, I'm proud of you. You've done a good job. You've moved a long way. I saw a lot in you that you were dedicated and you wanted to go out there and you wanted to be a tire changer and you went for it and you did it. And on my last show, I was telling everybody, if you want something bad enough, you go after it. You go for it. You learn all you can. You put everything you got into it. Yes.
Be the best you that you can be.
Just like me, as I got to be a jack man because I put everything I had into it. I got to be an engine builder because I was just working at the dealership, but everything I eat, breathe, and sleep NASCAR, and then I worked out all the time. So yeah, I mean
I'm sure we'll run into Thomas at some point.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll run into Thomas at some point.
Yeah, I'm actually going to start trying to go to some of the races. I would say probably next year. I'd really like to go and do some camping and stuff like that. So
anybody got a camper they want to donate?
Well, so my
camper.
Yeah, my camper used to belong to Mike Hilton, and then Robert Yates, and then Nick Ramey. But the thing is way too big to try to haul anywhere. It's 2-bedroom. It sticks out 10 feet behind the rear axles. It's 30 feet long.
It's 39 feet long.
Okay.
It's 39 feet long.
So it got the extra 9 feet on the rear. Yeah,
You
so
need your CDL license.
oh my gosh. I went down to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, we took it down to Myrtle Beach in a Duramax diesel truck and with airbags and stuff in it, and then we went back to pick it up with a semi truck. So but yeah, this is the shop that I'm gonna be working in from now on, in case people haven't seen it before. And as you can see,
It's full.
Yeah, it's full. I've got all kinds of projects going on in here.
And
So,
the dog sleeping on the.
Yeah, and that's not. So I got tractors over here that I'm working on. So most are mine. Some of them are customers.
4 tractors that I see.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's
actually 5 tractors in here.
That's my new place of employment where I'll be working on hamscapes. Sorry, I'm trying to fix that back. Okay. So, yep, Steve Baker says, Thomas, thanks for your hard work, brother. Great team. Absolutely is one of the fastest on pit road. So, we got, what did Rachel say? I agree, Paul. We are grateful for all your hard work and dedication. Thomas Hatcher for the number 22 Ford wins. Thanks for doing what you do, Thomas Hatcher from Paul Rodriguez.
She says,
That's
we've
right.
got to save our tracks. I hate hearing the tracks going down. It's not just a loss to racing, but to bringing the community together too.
Yes. I'd like to see them bring some of the tracks back. Some of them, I guess, probably never will come back.
The Jinx,
North
does he ever
Wilkesboro.
finish anything? She says, do you ever finish anything?
Oh,
it's a joke.
Well,
it's a process.
It's a process. So, part of the problem was, well, and I'll go back to me retiring from NASCAR. One of the reasons was spend more time with my parents. My parents live with me. They're getting older. My dad's going through some things with some Alzheimer's. So, I enjoy spending time with him, and I want to be here for them. And so, as far as my projects, a lot of times I'm at work, working in Mooresville. So I drive, get there and I work my 40 hours during the week. So I feel like I'm going to be freed up now to where I can actually get in here and work on this stuff.
Thomas says
he
wants to see Memphis back.
Memphis. That's one I haven't been to. I went to the old Nashville. That one, I don't know. I'm not sure about. Thomas, you tell me. I'm not sure about that one. Because unless it was before my time, I don't know. I went to the old Nashville Fairgrounds, and then they built a new Nashville Speedway, so I got to go there. I went to South Boston, a lot of those tracks, Nazareth, Wilkesboro. I was there in North Wilkesboro the last year in 1996. I was the jackman for Kyle Petty then, and then Rockingham, of course, and Darlington's still around, but
Rockingham just looks pitiful.
Well, North Wilkesboro is the one that looks really bad because it's got trees growing up in it and stuff. But Rockingham is.
They don't cut the grass.
I think they're working on getting the rock back.
I remember seeing it going to the beach. I would go that way to go to the beach.
Yes. So, yeah, I want to know what Xfinity used to run there in 2009 was the last year. Okay. And for some reason, that's what Thomas said. I never did go to Memphis.
It's not showing on mine, but okay.
You might have to scroll up or down. I did get to go to a lot of the tracks at the Busch Series back whenever I went. And I went, like I just said, some of the old tracks I went to there. So Steve Baker says, I think Xfinity and the trucks could bring back a lot of tracks. Yes, they could. And hey, how about I'd like to see a lot more Saturday night racing. And Thomas, what do you think about racing on Saturday nights versus racing on Sundays? I've always liked that. Those were always my favorite races when I was going as a jackman, because then I had Sundays off, and then you
have at least half a day to the weekend.
Yeah. Of course, I was always tired on Sunday, but it was more fun.
It was to work afterwards.
Yeah, it was cooler, because you're doing it at night instead of out there in the heat of the day, of course. But but you're still out there in the heat of the day, just not during the race where you're actually doing your deal. So Rachel says, I was thrilled to hear that they are repairing Rockingham. The drivers seem to really like that truck a lot from what I heard. I'd say yes. I'd say Kyle Petty actually, that's one of the ones that he actually liked. He used to say, you fill up Darlington and Bristol with water and stock them with bass and have fishing tournaments.
All right, I'll be back.
Yes,
I gotta
and
go again.
Thomas says, I'm ready for bed on the night races. I like day.
He would like to see weeknight races.
That is true too. Now I remember being at the night races and just being like,
I'll see y'all.
oh, is this thing ever going to be over? Especially the one at Daytona whenever it rained. Bye. Oh my gosh, that was the worst. I loaded the car and I took my shoes off and just dumped the water out. So weeknight races now, that is something that came up. We talked about that on these chats. I'd like to see some weeknight races, Thomas says. Yeah, why not? Let's do it, And I can't remember. I had some really good reasons, and a lot of people chimed in on some good reasons for doing that too. But I don't. And you might even get more people watching because it's during the week. You do it prime time or something. I don't know. So Paul Rodriguez says people are screaming out they won't change. Knock the banks down at the tracks, they say. So the first track they steal a date from is New Hampshire, the flattest track of them all. I don't get it. Well, I don't know. And somebody made the comment that we should only race at, who was that? One race per track. Oh, Ryan Newman says no track should have more than one cup race per season. Does that mean we limit the number of tracks? Yes, good point, Thomas. I kind of forgot about that. We got a Pocono double header coming up next year, which should be very interesting. And that may actually pave the way for some of the other tracks. It depends on how much, like Pocono put a lot of money into their track. Phoenix put a lot of money in their track. Maybe they'll eventually have some of those double headers. So, Anthony Flynn, thanks for tuning in, buddy. I'll see you. Hope you're having a good week there at Roush Yates Engines. I know you probably missed me already, but and in case you just missed Tracy, she just went in. So Terry Quinn, not sure how many fans could make it to the races if they were held on weeknights. And then Thomas says, those are 300-mile races, I hear. All right. And I would save the team. It would save the team's money for travel. Steve Baker says, yeah. So yeah, I guess a 300-mile race would be, hey, if people could, I don't know. That is a good point about people missing work or whatever. But, if people know ahead of time, they get their tickets ahead of time, then they could take some vacation time, whatever, go to the race. You're not there all night because it's just 300 miles. So I don't know. Does anybody have any questions? Any more comments? Because I think it's probably about time to wrap it up. And keep up the good work, Thomas. We'll be pulling for you. We're always pulling for that 22 and the 2 and then Penske, Roush Yates engines, cars, all those guys. Just keep doing what you're doing. Thomas says, where did you hate to go? I'm assuming you're talking about what tracks that I did not like. I was mentioning earlier, I didn't like going to Michigan just because of the traffic. Getting out of Michigan, it would take 2 hours. We would have to sit in the infield. But then they fixed that. They started holding the fans and letting us get out of there. So, but other than that, I can't really think of any tracks that I didn't like going to. I loved going to Phoenix. I liked Bristol was a little bit of a drive, and then driving back from Bristol after the race at night was, pretty tough. I got back at 5:30 in the morning one time. Uh, but the other ones that were, the ones that we drove to were actually, they were kind of nice. North Wilkesboro was probably my favorite. It took me 45 minutes to get there, and and 45 minutes, a little bit longer to get home because of traffic. But I didn't like going to Charlotte. I know that because, especially any of the Charlotte races, because the traffic getting in and out was ridiculous. So those were the tracks, probably the only ones that I can think of. Everywhere else, I really enjoyed going. I just didn't, it got to a point where I was missing out on my son's ball. So I decided, after 2001, he was 6 years old, and it was time for me to stay home and go to coaching baseball. And that's what I did for all those years. So, but sorry, like I said, I got a fan blowing my mustache right now. So, but anyway, if y'all would hit like on this video, share with your friends. Let's get some more people involved next time, and we can all be, basically our Ford fan base is what we have here. But if you're a fan of Toyota or Chevy or any of those, we can join in with us. If you're a fan of NASCAR, if you got suggestions on what we can do to improve the sport, to get more people in the stands, that kind of stuff, go on here after the video stopped and give me a comment. Comment what you think we need to do so that we can make this sport better and keep it growing, keep it going, because we all love the sport of NASCAR. So thank you to Hamm. Check out her channel. She says, very proud of you, David, and a big heart. That's very nice. Steve Baker, you're a great guy, David. Congrats on retirement. Thank you so much. And you know what? I'm going to give props to my wife because, she was encouraging me to and standing behind me to do what I did, and that was to hang it up, working for NASCAR, work for myself, take care of my parents, which I'm very fortunate that I can do that, and grow my business and basically be my own boss. The first day was pretty nice. It was different, but I think I'm going to get used to it, and I think I'll be pretty happy. I can go on some more vacations and things. But thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much. He says, David, you're the best engine builder there is. Well, buddy, you're the best tire changer there is, and I'm always going to be proud of you, and I always brag on you. Because I remember when you started out at Roush H Engines, and then you worked your way up, and then now look at you, you're doing an excellent job. Keep up the good work. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And like I said, go back on here and comment after the video and tell me, ask me any questions you want. I get notifications on my phone, and I can answer any questions that you have, unless they're too technical about engines with Roush H Engines. I still have an allegiance with them. Certainly not going to give away any secrets. I would never do any of that, but there's still a lot of things that I could answer and tell you about behind the scenes things, how cool Doug Yates is, how cool the guys are that I worked with over at Roush H Engines. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, and y'all have a great week. And like I said, if you want one of these shirts, I'm going to try to go ahead and design one, and I'll put it in a comment. But anyway, hope y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday for the NASCAR live chat with Hamm at 7:30. Stay tuned. Enjoy the Michigan race. Y'all have a great one.